One of the keys to getting great performance out of your hand plane, other than a sharp iron, is in the adjustment of the blade in relationship to the work. I want to go over some adjustments in a traditional Stanley style hand plane and in a newer style hand plane and show you the differences, and you can make your own decisions on what works best for you. So let's take a look at this traditional Stanley style plane. I've removed the lever cap and the cap iron and blade assembly. And the first thing you'll notice is this lever at the top that pivots back and forth at the top of the frog. And if you look real close, there's a disc on here, and it engages the slot on the back or on the iron of the plane. Now below that is what we call the yoke, and there's a raised area there that engages this little rectangular slot in the cap iron. And those two kind of work together. The last adjustment you'll see, you have to turn the plane around and kind of look underneath on the back side. You could see in there's a screw, and that adjusts the forward and back position of the frog. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, if you move the frog forward, you end up creating a tighter mouth on the bottom of the plane, and that's for taking thinner shavings. So let's put the cap iron and blade assembly back in. And remember that yoke, it engages the slot here, and that disc on the lateral adjustment lever is engaged in the slot in the iron. So if I move that lever back and forth, you can see how the position of that blade changes left to right. So this is the adjustment you use to make sure that the blade is parallel to the sole of the plane. I want to talk a little bit about this adjustment mechanism on the back. This particular knob here, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a yoke that engages the shaft on that knob, and as you turn this knob back and forth, it adjusts the blade up and down. So this style of adjustment is very common in steel body hand planes. If we take a look at this more modern plane made by Veritas, you'll see it looks completely different than a traditional Stanley hand plane. So I want to point out some of the features that make it unique. If you look up here, there is a lateral adjustment, but it's kind of unique in that it's also threaded. And if you watch this little boss right here, it kind of moves as I turn it. So that little boss engages a hole in the cap iron, and you can see the lateral adjustment. And if I turn this, you can see the blade kind of go up a little bit. So I'm retracting the blade by turning it counterclockwise. And then the frog adjustment on the back is a little bit unique too. This whole assembly moves back and forth. If I loosen this screw here, this knob here, I can turn this dial. You can see that. I can turn this dial, and that moves the frog forward and backward to adjust the size of the mouth opening. So it's a hand plane redesign that works well for a lot of people. Some people don't care for the Norris style adjuster, but it's just a matter of personal preference and what you get used to. So now that you know the adjustment mechanism of each style of hand plane, you can make an informed decision about your purchase, if you want to use a traditional style hand plane, or if you want to purchase a newer style hand plane. The choice is up to you, and it's a matter of preference, but in any case, once the plane is adjusted properly, you'll get great results.